want to welcome you back to the Triple Thread Podcast. I'm Lamar.
I'm Joey.
Hey, man, we're excited to have a VIP guest who is a friend from way back.
Yes, sir.
Mike Webb.
Good to see you.
Or as we called him, Max von Weber.
Yes,
Mike,
yes.
It is so good to see you.
Don't I get a microphone?
You
like
do,
in the middle?
you
Do I have
do.
to? I know.
Yeah.
It just doesn't look right. Are we recording video?
Listen, here's the deal. Just
Where
so
am I big?
you know, I know. Listen, this guy is like a movie director extraordinaire. Here's what I'm worried about. Joe, I want to just say this to you in front of Mike. I'm worried. He's always behind the camera. I don't even know if he's going to be able to know how to act in front of the camera.
It's quite okay.
I mean, tonight, for instance, I look at him like, we're not filming The Chosen. Show him, Mike.
But I did.
I
wore my best sandals for you. I wore shoes for you.
We're not filming The Chosen, and why he can bust on me is why I can bust on him. We go all the way back, junior year in high school, true story. Moved to Middletown, Joe, and I'm in youth group with this clown, right here.
Your mom and dad were best friends with my mom and dad.
Yeah, they were. And Mike was the guy who was uber creative, artist, drove way back in the day, he drove a Porsche.
I had a Porsche.
I don't know if he was selling drugs in Madison Township or what he was doing.
No judgment.
But I had to park it always up on a hill, if you remember, because it would never start.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
so that you could
clutch
pop
start.
the clutch on the way down.
Yeah.
But I mean, the optics were good.
Yeah. So, man, a lot to talk
We're,
about.
because of that, we're going to have to, for a lot of reasons, keep this contained.
A little bit.
We will include you.
A little bit, yeah.
We will. Lamar will.
Joe, you can ask him anything. Because I'm surely going to ask
Put my phone on
him
silent.
everything.
I get raw.
Yeah, it's going to get raw. It's going to get real, as you can say real quick. Mike, here's the deal. It's true, and I'm kind of pulling back here from just having fun. And laughter is good, man. And you know what? We laugh because we're in community.
Correct.
And we can laugh because we're together. And I think a lot of people forget that. Sadly, there's a lot of people living in silence and they're living in silos. Mm-hmm. But when you're in community, there's something about being together and that emotion can come out. And so we're going to have a lot of emotion. But I will tell you this, Joe, and you've learned more about Mike and will learn more about Mike tonight. Incredible story career, really. I mean, has been so gifted from ever since I knew him. But his media presence, his movie direction, production, I mean, it's really, really epic. And so you understand a little bit more about things like Elephant in the Living Room and Conservation Game and things like that, which we're going to talk about tonight. But so many things. But before we get there to those epic events, I want to ask you, do you remember? Okay, Mike, do you remember?
Hey, choose your stories wisely.
Okay,
because I have way more on you.
I know you've got a lot.
I'm ready for it.
Do you remember being in a place in Michigan at a snow camp, breaking out the Indiana Jones whip? Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. No, I remember. Sometimes our memory, what we remember versus reality, you question sometimes, but I could swear you and I slept together in a cabin.
You already went there. Mike, I'm telling you, okay, that's fair. Touche.
People can take away what they want.
True story, Joe. Mike and I concocted this incredible plan. We were in Camp Barracuda up in who knows where. Michigan. So much snow, and we concoct this plan. And here it is. Okay, Mike, you and I are going to sneak out after everybody goes to bed, and we're going to sneak out, if you remember, and we're going to go barricade the girls' dorm. We're going to put so much snow up there, we're going to barricade that. True story, right?
Yes.
We were just thinking, okay, so we're just huddled up in, I don't know if it's my bed or your bed. It doesn't matter, but we're in bed together as 16-year-olds.
There's nothing weird about it at all. It's perfectly normal.
No, perfectly
Yes,
normal.
no,
but
of
we had
course.
this plan concocted. We were going to do it. Let's wait till everyone falls asleep. Well, guess what?
You fell asleep.
We fall asleep. And by that time, it's too late. We're not getting out that cold.
Well, this is very cozy.
Very,
Yeah, I mean,
very
I like
cozy.
it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no.
Very,
Animals
very
do it.
cozy. But yeah. Do you remember 8 Men Out?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
You remember 8 Men
Oh,
Out?
yeah.
So his claim to fame, let me just
Yeah.
tell you,
Yeah.
it's not the
Yeah.
movies he's produced.
No.
He has a cameo
Yeah.
in the movie 8 Men Out, which Robert Redford, if I remember, was
Yeah,
he a
like
part
John
of?
Sayles was the director. I don't know if you know, I ended up being, I didn't know what a stand-in was at the time. I was there just to be an extra.
It's a cameo.
And they're like, hey, do you want to be a stand-in for John Cusack? And I'm just like, yeah. And so my incredible attributes and talents that qualified me for that was I was exactly 6'2" and he was 6'2". I was exactly the same height.
So your height
I
got
had
you in.
It got me in.
Johnny
just that
Cusack.
John Cusack. Yeah.
Did you ever get to meet him?
Well, yeah, because I was a stand-in, so for several days or a week or whatever, I got to, and so the other thing that I was really good at was just sitting there or standing there. So what a stand-in does is I just stand or walk or whatever, and then he comes in, he's like, "Get out of here." That's me. So no, that was John Cusack's a great director, one of my favorite directors actually, and that's the first time I'd ever been on a set and. Yeah, it was a great experience. Kind of got the bug, from there or whatever. But the most embarrassing thing was because this was in the 80s, kind of getting to the late 80s.
Shot in Cincinnati, a lot of
Shot in
this?
Cincinnati,
Okay.
and so it's about the Black Sox controversy where they threw the series and stuff like that. So in 1919, so it's 1919 and you have to have, a proper haircut, probably like this. Yeah. But then we show up and it's like a cattle call and it becomes literally like a cattle call where they're lining us up and they have some kind of tent and we're all going in with smiles and everyone's coming out there just buzzed off. I was like, I can't do this.
No.
I can't do that. You can't, your hair's like this and all wavy
cool.
and,
No, you can't
and
do
whatever.
that.
You go through and they're just like, bam, bam, bam. And I didn't want to go to school the next day because my hair was above my ears. I'm going to get the crap kicked out of me,
For being in a movie.
Yeah, what are you doing?
What are you doing? You
It's like
punk?
it's 1919.
I'm in a movie.
I'm playing a role.
movie. Do you remember? Ready for this?
Yes.
Joe, your eyes are gonna get wide. Do you remember an electric chair in the youth department?
Yeah. Well,
I'm not making this
it was
up.
it was a different time.
It
Let's just put
It was in the 80s.
terms of
It was an electric chair, was it
Yeah,
not?
it was. No, you would get in the hot seat, and it would go through your jeans.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
the amount of child abuse that was sanctioned in the 80s
It's
into the 90s. Yeah.
Do you remember diving into a said baptistry?
No, I actually don't remember any of this.
Yeah, you're lying.
That's why I say you can't trust these old
But
memories.
true. I mean, we look back and it's like, we really
had a great
did
time.
that. We had a great time.
We had a great time.
And it was real. We were blessed to have, people like Lewis Howard.
I know.
And Brenda, and they're still in ministry today.
They need to know that we talk about them all the time.
Oh.
I mean, we do. I mean,
we
it was
do.
just
In a
like
good way.
incredible for them and
Jimmy and Sharon Titch.
Jimmy and Sharon Titch. We abused the heck out of them, and they allowed us to.
And
to
he's
do-
now
but
a
I mean,
campus pastor.
No,
Now
I
he's
know,
watching.
but for them to be willing to do what they did for us and with us, and they were so much fun. Like they were just incredible. I mean, I actually blamed them for all the fun that we had, really. But I mean, we to this day, it's a tragedy that we don't. At least I don't reach out to these people and teachers and all kinds of other, people from the past to tell them just how much impact they had on us and how much fun we had and how that, that ripples into the future and so forth. So I think it wasn't just that we were, if you want to go back to your community kind of stuff, it wasn't that we were having fun.
No.
It was that we were able to have fun while having this sort of community in a really safe environment where we're learning and developing friends that actually, we talk, my wife and I talk about this too. I mean, the friends that were made there are my lifelong friends,
Yeah.
like forever. It would be just like now. I probably haven't seen you in 10 years.
Yeah.
Before that's probably been 10 years, but it doesn't matter. Like those relationships were really forged. And I give a lot of credit to those pastors there that were just so amazing.
Yeah. Well, for the record, it hasn't been 10 years, but Mike has been pretty busy, and we every now and then will get together for a Chinese meal, right?
Yes,
and eat Chinese food.
That's the only reason I'll do it. He'll say, let's
do Chinese. It's been a long time. Do you remember? You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember Bad Lie?
I have a memory of that, for sure.
So tell us about Bad Lie. You don't know about Bad Lie.
No idea.
Well, like a lot of, my first film was a short film, and of course, and I was a writer, so you write what you know and everything, and so I knew golf, and so I wrote. In fact, I don't know if you know this. Bad Lie actually started off as was a high school contest. It was Careers Magazine or whatever they call it. It was a national contest, and in high school, it's the first thing I ever wrote. And it ended up winning first place in this national sort of contest and everything. So that's how that started. But then I ended up making that into a short film with Clint Howard, who I loved Clint Howard, and
tell our viewers
Gordon
who
Jump.
Clint Howard is.
So Ron Howard's brother, and but Clint is just great character actor and in a lot of different roles. And I just really thought that he was something, and so he was great. And brought him here to Cincinnati, and then to Gordon Jump, who's from WKRP in Cincinnati. I think he was from Dayton or Cincinnati too, and brought him here and several other people. But my first short film. My first film was a short film, and it was a golf comedy.
Today, I think as we talk together, Joe, you've got some interesting connections with your schooling and background. Tell our listeners, this is pretty powerful about how you and Mike have something in common.
Yeah, so in college, I took the easiest major I could find, which was mass communications.
Okay.
And video production was one of the options. I thought that sounds cool.
Okay.
Got my degree, got out of college, and went into the restaurant business. There's our similarity.
So did you? Now you went back. You said the easiest. The easiest degree, which I mean, let's
communication wasn't hard.
Video stuff. I mean, come on, how tough is it, right? You push play. I mean, it's a camera, right?
We were splicing then, weren't we? Some.
Well, see, and a lot of people had that thought and that attitude. In my first film class that I had, the professor knew that idea and said, if you think that you're here to watch movies and just to do whatever, you're wrong. And like the whole place kind of goes down. He's like, and this was just film appreciation like 101.
Right.
He's like, we're going to watch films and you're going to have to write about them. And if I can't publish your paper in a film magazine, then you're not going to get an A. That's what you're going to need in order to be able to get an A. So at some, places they're, aware of that, and they try to get pretty hardcore on filtering.
Miami was not that school. Just saying.
I don't want to be left out of this, but I do have something in common with you guys too. Not a camcorder, no. But I took a class at Miami University called Film Studies. And so Dr. Hayda was my professor, and I remember, to kind of your point, it wasn't just going in and watching movies. It was critiquing, writing, and all those things. So, Mike, take us back really to early on. Why film? Why production? Take us back. Why?
I think I feel fortunate in this respect where I always kind of knew what I wanted to do. And so I appreciated, the fact that I was interested in something. I knew what it was, and I could, try to pursue that. And so I did. So that was always, something that I wanted to do and that I would do and film and edit and so forth. There's just, so many things that, were included in my path and then led to my path. So, one of them was writing. So actually, I had a full ride to NYU for the work that I was doing and so forth. And I don't know if you know about this. Becky and I were engaged at the time, and we were in a car accident. It really affected our lives forever. And so right here on the intersection of Braille and Verity or something. Or so yeah. Really? So it was really devastating. And
did that affect her vision, Mike?
There were definitely some cognitive things. So I had to
take. Becky. So we got beautiful young lady. No. I mean, beautiful, sweet, kind. I don't know about her taste in men.
Maybe we got engaged after that.
I wonder. Can we fact check that with Becky?
Yeah, no. I like my version of the story.
Go ahead. Better. Keep going.
But so that we weren't able to go to New York as planned, and this whole thing, and things really went sideways. And so got involved in the business and became owner of a production company and so forth. But I really worked on writing. I didn't like writing. Actually, I found it difficult and challenging. And for that reason, I wanted to do it. So I was majoring in English and creative writing and so forth because I really wanted to hone those skills. I had had some success. Like I said, the first thing I wrote, was published and everything, but I found value in pursuing that as a way to help inform film and filmmaking because I thought that I could do this, but this is the difficult thing for me. And I was glad that I did it because doing that and studying that and specializing in writing and screenwriting and so forth. So I don't know if you know, I was a screenwriter as well and had scripts optioned in Hollywood and also would fix scripts and do things like that in the early days.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I had a visual effects background too, so a lot with visual effects when it was in its infancy and everything, and so traveled the world actually teaching production companies and studios and stuff like that how to do visual effects. So for me, what was helpful is I had the writing, background, or I should say training, and then had a really strong visual effects background. In fact, my first film that I was credited on was a visual effects supervisor. So while I produced and co-produced these studio films, what I was also doing is I was a visual effects supervisor on all of those films as well. So there's that background and then the writing. But because I had a production company, I knew how to edit.
Which is Mainsail
Productions.
Is it still in existence?
Oh yeah, totally. So I've had that for 30-some years, and so.
And Mainsail has, some of the shows that were produced
we've
from
done
Mainsail
television shows, PBS shows, a lot of commercial work and things like that. So I've got, over time I've got Nightfly Entertainment, which is my film, production company that I do my films out of, and then Mainsail Productions, which is the commercial production. But, a lot of that stuff really informed so much technical, let's say even post-production like capabilities and stuff. And so many years later, or maybe not so many years later, that really, all of those things came in handy when we're talking about then going into film in terms of my ability to write, to understand post-production, to understand all aspects of production, to be able to problem solve so much. Where really, many producers, they really may not know the nuts and bolts of a lot of these sort of pieces. And I was able to come on as a producer and learn the high-level producer things from these really great producers who would mentor me. Joe Goodman, Kevin Downs. Ralph Winter was a mentor to all of us, and he's a legend in Hollywood, and he was just fantastic. So I was able to learn producing from them. In the meantime, be very helpful with all the nuts and bolts and problem solving. And so that led to, producing, many films.
Think about the community you just talked about. The benefit of having mentors in our life.
Yeah.
And the benefit of what you would say that you are standing on the shoulders of a lot of people who have poured into you. And I think that's where a lot of people miss it. They don't see the power of community around them, people making them better.
Yeah.
Your craft is better today because of fill in the blank with all these names.
Well, and all these people, it was so, I think, reciprocal because, the reason I was there is because I brought something to the table, but at the same time, they're willing to not keep all their trade secrets here. They're willing to help. And so those were great people that I learned so much from over the years. And so, that grows and grows and grows, independent films, studio films, just sort of everything, commercial production. I probably my production company, we've probably done 3,000 to 4,000 productions over the years and stuff, plus all the films and everything in such a, diverse, and that's prior to ever doing a documentary. So a lot of people would think, because of Elephant in the Living Room, because of what it did and everything, and it was a complete change in trajectory for me. It changed my life, but it also changed my career path and everything. That we think about that as the starting point.
That was the fuse?
But there was, yeah, absolutely. Okay. But there was, 20 years setting up productions in Europe. I spent, I was commuting to Los Angeles for many, many years at the same time, doing productions in Europe for 2 or 3 years or whatever. So, there's all this before ever even thinking of doing a documentary or anything like that. But you can think about that as really informing and molding and giving experience and stuff, so that when I did take this step, you don't know it at the time, but when I did take this step, you can now go back and see how I could have never pulled off what I did without that 10 and 20 years worth of experience to go to what I think was just, for me at least, was a seminal moment in my life that you didn't even maybe necessarily know at the time.
Wow.
I think also as you're talking, you come to points like that in life, and as Jesus followers, when you said you were like that elephant in the living room, which I want you to talk about. You look at that, and you would almost say, people looking in would say, well, maybe that was accidental. It kind of, but it wasn't accidental. And God brings us, builds us, grows us for a platform that we don't even recognize because we're so close to that things are going to happen. But Elephant, we call it Elephant in the Living Room. It's the title. Elephant was that thing that kind of just, quote, put you on the map, correct?
Yeah. And you talk about we joke about that a lot. It's like, wow, it's amazing how these things are so coincidental, and these accidents that happen or whatever, these random events. But we know that none of that's really true. I can't remember where we read this, but when Becky and I were reading and learning about raising children and stuff, I can't remember what we read, but I'll never forget this because I apply this later, and this will relate to Elephant, is I remember there was a line in this book that said, if you do these things, there's a good chance your kids are going to turn out this way and be able to do whatever. It's like, I want to do this. And it said that later, people will tell you how lucky you are that your child or teenager or young adult is XYZ. And what you're going to do is say, thank you very much, I agree. But they're like, but you will know that it's not luck, and it's not chance. It's because you did put in the work, you did read this thing, and you did whatever. And you say thanks, but it didn't happen by chance, and it wasn't luck. Right. And I used to, and I think it's both. Because at the same time, nothing is guaranteed, and we're blessed. Sure. Even when we do the things that we think we're instructed to do, work, however you want to define that. So that's all still wrapped in blessing and favor if we ever get there. Yeah. I think Elephant in the Living Room was the same way because I was extremely proactive. And the concept that I had, so you could look at that film, so if you watched it recently, you see what happened there toward the end and stuff like that. And you can look at that and say, how lucky, how fortunate that you were there, that was recorded or that happened. And I say, I know, thank you very much, I know. It's not true because I had gone to Terry's place, I would say 100 times, I would say 50 times over the course of a year. I would literally travel there almost every weekend. I don't remember if it was 20 or 200 hours worth of footage. And my idea was this, is that, and I coined this phrase, and this is what I still say to myself, if you want to be at the right place at the right time, you need to try to be everywhere all the time. Think about that. It's almost like at the craps table. It's like, I don't know, how am I going to be at the right place at the right time? But if I can put my chip on every number, or 25% or 50 or whatever, it increases my chances of being at the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And so I'm not leaving it to chance, as we talk about. I'm not leaving it to chance.
Right.
I'm going to get up when I don't want to. I'm going to put in the work. That way, it's that whole idea of success is where preparation meets opportunity.
Yeah.
Like that right place at the right time is opportunity.
Right.
It's the preparation that allows you to capitalize on that or be there.
Wow.
Caveat, and you know this, but that still demands a huge blessing because that doesn't have to happen. And so the recognition that the effort is blessed and isn't just me. I think that there has to be both. I can do all the effort in the world, and then I still don't get any, not show any favor in it because I've got a lot of that. But then also, sometimes both of those can happen, and I always want to recognize that.
I think it's a great recognition because you said the word opportunity. We go back to that opportunity, and that word opportunity, and the word community.
Yeah.
Think about the similarity to an English major. Opportunity, community. They both end with unity. And the sad tragedy is there's a lot of people who are not taking the opportunity to be a part of community. You were at Terry's 50 plus times, but I think
we became best friends. He was a family friend.
You talked about something that's so missed. It really, I believe, is that kind of faith works. Faith without works, Scripture says, is dead, right? So you show me your faith, but there's got to be some oomph. There's got to be some work behind it. And so guess what? God does reward diligence.
No, I'm convinced of it.
He rewards diligence.
I'm 100% convinced.
The wisest,
because I've done the opposite.
And what did you get?
Nothing.
Yeah.
So nothing at all.
So the wisest man in the world talks about in the Proverbs. Solomon talks about a sluggard, talks about, watch the ant. Watch how the ant goes to work.
Yeah.
So diligence is important. We talked about another episode about where we were together, and we talked about, we just have to be faithful in the field. David was faithful as a young boy in the field, didn't have any idea, only saying, yes, I'll obey his father, who said, go check on your brothers, go carry some cheese. So he's carrying cheese sandwiches to his brothers, never realizing that would open the door for an opportunity for him to fight a giant.
Yeah.
When you think about that.
And
he said, yes, okay, I'm going to step into that. Yes, I'm going to step into that. And I really believe that so often people look and they're like, they become jealous or they become envious of people who, look what they have. Well, first of all, you don't know what they've gone through to get where they are.
Right.
And you also don't know the work that has been put behind the effort of what you see as finished product.
Yeah. No, it's the overnight success fallacy.
Yeah.
It's just like, no,
It's
only the success happened overnight.
No, yeah.
Everything, no one talks about the 30, 20, 10 years like before that. And so it seems like an overnight success to the outside observer. But only the success was the overnight. A lot, it's not so sexy to talk about all the years and all the devastating. I mean, I will say with that film, it was personally, physically. I don't know if you knew, I ended up contracting a disease from the animals. I was bedridden.
Wow.
Went to doctors, University of Cincinnati, up in Columbus, like everybody. They couldn't solve what it was. I had to quit my job, like the whole thing. I couldn't finish the film. So, but I mean, it was a different version of that for 2 years, time and time and time again. And so we were in our house, we were on the verge of insanity. Like this was the most ill-conceived move to make in the first place because we were doing great. Documentaries were not popular then.
No.
I didn't like documentaries.
No. Yeah.
I didn't like, but I had this idea, and I won't get into why.
For the record,
Now.
I love documentaries.
Well, yeah, but you didn't.
I probably did not.
You didn't in 2008.
Probably did not.
But
Blackfish.
yeah. Hey, that was after Elephant.
Okay,
See what I mean?
okay.
No, it was like
Tiger King.
Well after. You would do that to me.
I didn't miss an episode of that.
No. Oh my gosh.
What a
yes.
fortuitous timing, Tiger King.
Yeah.
Think about it. The world shuts down.
Yeah, that's
And Tiger King releases.
Only reason I watched
Which this is
yeah,
crazy.
you don't have to make any excuses.
But
No,
this
go ahead.
guy, believe it or not, this guy has some connections.
Really?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that when we come back from the break. We got more to talk about. I got more secrets to uncover. Speaking of secrets, in fact, Mike, I've seen probably all of his movies. Yeah. The truth of the matter is, my very good friend, one of my bestest friends from high school, guess what? He's just seeing his copy right now. He hasn't, no. Would he even think about trying to get a copy? This is a hot commodity, Mike.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
It was very difficult.
Church
I'll tell you this. Elephant in the
members.
living room happened because a friend of mine handed me a storybook when I was on my way to Warsaw, Poland to do a thing. And then 1 year later, I'm filming that. So
Really? So who knows? I mean, here we go. But
I just like to set him up for disappointment. It is not going to happen.
Maybe.
It's not.
hey, never say never. Joe, take us to break.
Yeah, we're gonna pause for just a quick message from Lamar. You might as well go on into it.
Yeah.
Hang tight. We'll be right back.
Hey, thanks for tuning in also to this podcast for the Triple Thread. We are grateful for your support. We can't do it without you. We would not be doing this without an audience. So thank you for not only being a part of this community and taking the opportunity, but thank you for taking your time to view or to watch it. We hope you like it. We hope you tell your friends and family about it. Don't forget, every Monday at 6 a.m. it drops. You can get online and find that where you listen to podcasts. Also, if you're looking for community, one way that you can get involved is to jump on realcommunityforyou.com, realcommunity, the number 4, the letter u.com, where you can be engaged, and we'll tell you more about it, what it means to be a part of this thing called community. Speaking of community, the book Dirty Big Secret is out. If you don't have a copy, we'd love for you to pick up a copy of Dirty Big Secret, where you can discover the need for community. Over 7 years writing the book. It's a labor of love, but I believe you'll enjoy it. It's a memoir, and it takes you into the real blood and guts of life and community. So you can order that today on that website through my publisher, Orange Fraser, or you can pick it up at a Baraka location near you. Again, thanks for tuning in. Can't wait to get back and join the episode. So we're back with Mike. This is kind of director's cut. And let me just say this, okay? I'm going to nerd out a little bit. And I'm going to talk language that you're like, yeah, whatever. Because you know it all. But years ago, and this is probably kind of when you could still order stuff from Blockbuster, right? But I remember being told about this thing called director's cut. And I'm like, what do you mean director's cut? And I started watching these films that I had watched, and it takes you through, and the director is speaking in a microphone like this, and he's saying this, hey, the lighting over here is done because of this. Notice this nuance. It was fascinating. So, Mike, director's cut, we're gonna go into, but you probably got a lot of director's cut opportunity, right?
Yeah, too much.
Yeah.
So pick your questions.
Very wise. Okay, so here's the first.
So start with the stuff that you really care. You really want to know.
I really want to know.
Okay.
Well, here's the first thing I really want to know. Ready?
Yes.
Ready? Here we go. What are you working on right now?
Of course.
I'm always asking.
I'm looking for something, So
He did say you could ask him.
No,
I'm working on a few projects, but
yeah.
One is secret. And
Yeah.
there's a couple others that I won't. I actually, there's a reason why I'm trying to clear the decks this year, because there is a project that I'm very, very interested in. It will not be controversial for the first time. And I'm going to, and here's the only thing that I'm going to tell you.
I'm backing away from the microphone. Not controversial?
Yeah, no, you are going to like it. So I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay.
Because I'm going to come back for that one because you're going to love it, I think.
Okay.
You will personally love it.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited about that.
So I'll leave it at, I'll just.
Okay, we won't dig on you. We'll have to maybe do some Chinese off the record.
Now,
But
when he takes me to Chinese, I give up all the secrets. No, this guy has known.
listen,
So my past, like those two
MSG
films,
takes a lot out of him.
I'd buy to be part of this conversation. I would buy
It's
that
funny,
deal.
isn't it?
It is,
And I
yeah.
don't have to. I'm like,
No.
what's going on, Mike?
No.
And he's just
And
like,
then-
it's like pulling the curtain, the priest. You know,
No,
isn't
no,
it?
no. He knew about elephant in the living room probably before anybody.
Yeah.
Eating at Susie's, you know.
Yeah.
And then
Shout out Susie's from Springboro.
Oh man, I know. And but even the conservation game. So I was receiving like strange messages from you when I'm, around the country. I remember. So there's a thing.
For our listeners, take us to the conservation game. It's powerful.
Yeah. So conservation game, in a sense, is a follow-up, a sequel, if you will, of Elephant in the Living Room, but 10 years later.
Okay.
But it flips everything upside down. Is not what you expect. It would be a sequel, and so it comes from a different angle. Involves Tim Harrison, and then a ensemble of other investigators, federal investigators, attorneys, and stuff like that. And when I thought Elephant in the Living Room was arduous because it took like 2 years or something like that, this was 3 or 4 years, certainly 3 years undercover, filming this film, and you'll see why when it comes out. And so we couldn't tell anybody anything. Couldn't reveal anything to anything. Lamar's one of the only people I know. So you'll see why. But an undercover investigation in that same space, but from an angle that you would not anticipate. And it was so when we do like documentaries and we're working in this space and so forth, we talk about impact. So you look at like the student body with childhood obesity or Elephant in the Living Room with exotic animals as pets and so forth. You look at what I liked about that space and what I realized about with Elephant, and why I've continued to stay in that space versus going back to scripted fiction films, is that there had meaning and purpose. And so I was able to take my skill and to take my craft and do something that didn't just entertain and everything and maybe you make a buck and make a living, but instead have meaning and purpose with it in my profession. And that's pretty rare, actually. You get to do that every day, but if you think about it, it's actually very rare. We usually have to go outside of our 9 to 5 to kind of find that, and that's good. But I was fortunate to find with documentaries that I could do that. And so it's been very difficult. I don't want to leave that space. It makes everything else that I did prior just seem silly and trivial and meaningless. You know what I mean? So then I did that, and I did the student body, and it was just so full and rich of meaning and everything. And then the same with the conservation game, and then the ongoing films that I'll be doing. So that's why taking that path. It's not. Now the success didn't hurt. Sure. Like there's that sort of traditional, I guess, like validation that like you did something or whatever. But to be perfectly honest, it's the fact that it changed laws, it changed people, it changed society, it changed culture, and the same with student body and then the conservation game. It's been argued that the conservation game, in terms of its impact in the space that it takes place in, and in terms of the speed and the depth of the impact, is among, if not the most impactful documentary that you could think of, in terms of its actual quantifiable impact from the day that it comes out to what happens the next day and from there forward. It was instant. I've never seen anything like it.
It's incredible.
It's literally was instantaneous.
Worldwide.
Yeah.
Jack Hanna. Do you know that name?
Oh, Yeah.
Okay. Have you heard much of Jack Hanna?
Not
No.
lately.
So I mean, it's
The day
okay.
after, so the movie world premiered at the Santa Barbara International Film Festival.
Okay.
It world premiered for critics and audiences for its first screening. So let's say it's a couple hundred people. From that day forward, you've never uttered a word from Jack Hanna in public ever again. So that'll start now. That's just we'll leave it at that, but that will tell you the sheer impact that this thing had and the significance of the investigation that we did, and you'll see why, and uncovering corruption. And
for the record, I mean, you know, I had the title. I really gave him like a good idea on the title.
Were you the one that? Yes, we were trying to figure out who came.
Jacked up.
Yeah. I mean, that was the working title for a long time. Yeah.
But really to watch, and is it safe to say? Did I hear you say? I mean, maybe I misheard, and I don't want our listeners to mishear it. Is it for you from this point on? Is it a documentary? I mean, are you a documentarian?
Well, yeah, I mean, from Elephant in the Living Room, yeah, I mean, that's it. And even documentary, just if you want to get nerded out, have different sort of subcategories or subgenres.
So what would some of those be that for us?
Well, if you think about it, a lot of and I don't know what we would call this, but I mean, a lot of the documentaries, the way I phrase it is like they're about an event that happened in the past.
So Burns, Ken Burns.
Oh, well, absolutely. But I mean, you think about, when you watch documentaries, if you're a fan, and most people are fans these days and stuff, if you think about it, what you're watching is a documentary about something that happened in the past, meaning when they made the film, it had already happened.
Yeah.
So there's no contemporaneous aspect. You'll try to force it in or whatever.
Right.
And by the past, I mean, it could have happened yesterday. Like now it's in the past. Yeah. But you think about Elephant in the Living Room now, you probably you're not thinking this when you're watching it. Think about it. It's a genre that's called cinema verite, which means cinema truth.
Truth veritas.
Yeah, exactly. And so it means like the filmmaker is there and is contemporaneous with the events, even interacting with the subjects, with the events. So I'm not telling a story about what happened. So when you're watching that film, you're seeing it as I'm seeing it at the time the events are unfolding.
Yeah.
So the filmmaker doesn't know what's going to happen that day, doesn't know how this thing ends, doesn't know how long it will take, doesn't know what. So you get to be, and so one reason it has such an effect is, if I can tell the story right, is you feel like you're there, you're me, watching this unfold before your eyes because you are.
You're right there.
It's contemporaneous. And so that's actually very, very rare when you think about the landscape of documentaries. So student body is cinema verite, and it's very effective for that reason. And the conservation game is just super cinema verite. You're watching the investigation happen as we are uncovering things in real time. We're approaching people that don't know they're being recorded at the time, and you get to watch it unfold.
So is Cops?
Yeah. So then
verite?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. But
and is the first 48?
No.
The first 48 is it verite?
No, because those. Well, maybe yeah. But here's the thing: those are reality TV.
Okay.
So this is where the lines blur. So you brought up Tiger King.
Yes.
You can't put the word verite, the Latin term veritas, on that because it's false.
Right.
It's a false narrative.
It's a false narrative. It's not true. And I know it because I know all the people. I know all the people most more
so
than
time out.
And
time
also
out.
It's reality TV.
So time out. You're saying
and all the events.
You're saying that Tiger King was staged, Mike? I mean, really?
Yeah. Oh,
it's kind of.
No, not only.
Is it Gilligan's Island meets?
No. Not only that. It's
really
the premise is false, and but also there's material in there that's false.
False teeth and all that.
Yeah. There's a lot of false teeth too.
I remember that.
No, I mean the whole thing. So it frustrates me. I'll give you an example.
And the community, and I was part of that.
Yeah.
You eat it up. Hook, line, and sinker.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So you notice what I didn't say is that it's not effective. I didn't say this is an ineffective narrative. I said that the narrative's not true.
True.
It's a great narrative. It just doesn't have the benefit of being true.
Oh.
I didn't
People
say.
don't know that.
Yeah, no, and they wouldn't know that. So
An elephant is true.
So it frustrates me because of the ethical approach, the uber ethical approach that I take, both with, if you want to talk about community, both with the community, meaning the people that are in my documentaries, even people who are adverse to what I'm doing and so forth, in terms of my ethic, in terms of how I approach things, what makes it onto the screen, why, and the you never hear my voice, but the commentary or juxtaposition or however you want to put it, the narrative, if you will, of the film is that I hold it to the highest standard because I hold myself to that high standard. That's why things take 3 years. That's why my stuff doesn't look like Tiger King. That's why the day Tiger King came out, and people were saying, hey, you got to watch this thing because I think it's in the space. They had no idea the interaction that Joe Exotic and I had for 10 years, even during Elephant in the Living Room, by the way. No, they had no idea. But that's why the New York Times called me and said, we want to interview you about Tiger King. I'm like, well, you can interview me, but I don't need to watch the show. I'm not interested. I'm in the middle of another film.
Right.
And then they're like, you need to watch this. And then Howard and Carol called, and they're like, you need to watch this. I'm not interested. And they're like, you do need to watch it. So my wife and I binged it that night. So I told the Times, I'm like, you can interview me now. You know, I can tell you whatever. I don't need to watch some goofy. And then after I watched it, I'm like, give me a call. Give me a call. And I was, on their podcasts and stuff like that too, because and this is where I was getting at, is it's frustrating to me, as you can probably tell, when someone kind of enters my space and proposes to be what I do and call themselves a documentary and all that kind of stuff. And we're not the same.
You felt like it was a bad apple trying to portray what you do in truth.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't mind calling it out and so forth. And I could just assume.
So do you get calls from jail still today?
Well, Joe, I will say, going back to Elephant in the Living Room, just to put it in one sentence, Joe Exotic and his cronies were extremely antagonistic to me and to Tim and everything, to the point that I couldn't be on social media. I couldn't let people know where I was at what time. Friends, other mutual friends that we know and stuff, they would want to put, hey, Mike's, I'm like, you can't say it. And no one, I couldn't be at my own family's birthday parties. I would say you can't post me, and it would frustrate people, but they didn't know why. It's the death threats and all the stuff, and I could get into all the messages and all the things was real, but Joe was just incensed at sort of everything because I wouldn't let him in the film and I wouldn't go on the show.
You never called me to help do security for you.
I know.
Have you ever heard of Zanesville, Ohio?
Well, sure.
You've heard of Zanesville?
Yeah.
Mike, when I say Zanesville, Ohio, what comes to your mind?
Yeah, well, that happened. I'll say this. Oh gosh, I can't think of the reviewer's name. Big reviewer, Roger, what's his face?
Ebert?
Almost. Said when Zanesville came out. Zanesville came out like maybe 6 months after the theatrical release of Elephant in the Living Room, and can't think of the reviewer's name. He said Elephant in the Living Room is the movie that predicted Zanesville.
Wow.
But I'll tell you something else that comes to mind. Joe Exotic claimed at that time, now this is like 10 years before retired, like no one knows who he is, he's so antagonistic. He claimed that Tim Harrison and I killed Terry Thompson, the guy who killed himself at Zanesville and set all those animals loose and put the meat on himself.
Put the chicken grease on himself.
Yeah.
That we did that. You did that?
But as a ploy to publicize, as a like we were the only ones who could pull it off, as a way to publicize the film because it just so happened to come out the same day that he killed himself.
Wow.
Now, That's not true, but it doesn't matter.
Right.
So that's just the sort of the beginning. Yeah, I mean, it was released like 6 months, earlier and so forth. But so we were I was there that night. I was there that night when that was all going down because we had heard about this and was there, and then of course was on, all the late shows and morning shows and stuff like that as a result. But I think because we had just the film kind of forecasted what this was, so it was already.
Did you know Terry at that point?
I knew of Terry.
Yeah,
I didn't know Terry.
Yeah.
But and so in terms of timing, the movie Elephant had been the #1 independent film in the country, I think, for like 4 weeks in a row, 4 weeks straight, and so everyone was kind of already primed for it, and it already had its theatrical in 100 cities or whatever, and then that happens.
Wow.
So the timing was strange, and of course, I'd have plenty to say about that. But yeah, going back to Joe and the mind of him, his conspiratorial ways, of course, according to him, we killed Terry Thompson.
You met a lot of people in your time, in your industry, in this community. I can't imagine. Mike, what are you going to tell our audience if you were to just pause? What do you think you're the most proud of in life, and as you look back? I mean, we're not getting any younger, Mike. We're approaching that 60 number, are we not?
You were approaching it since you were 10 years old.
That's right.
Since you were born.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
It's right. It's right. It's right. It's right.
Closer.
But it's all relative. But what are you most proud of?
I mean, obviously, that I'm still married and that I've got 2 girls and now 3 grandchildren that are just amazing. Wow. And so my girls are just the best. And so, and
praise God for a great mom.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Can you imagine?
Yeah. No.
Yeah. So,
what do your grandkids call you?
Well, you don't even want to
Poop
know.
head?
No, I know. I was vying for Mr. Weber. Is what I wanted. And everything. But no, it's been a point of contention actually, and I've had a lot of difficulty with it. So we'll see when they're speaking a little bit better what we get to.
Yeah. So hopefully it'll hit somewhere close.
No, I mean we're looking at these kids aren't talking yet.
Yeah, so
they came fast.
That's Our grandkids incredible or what?
Yeah.
Our grandparents are incredible too, right?
Yeah, they're great. Yeah. I mean that's it. I mean, we get to talk about all the neat, fun stories about all the production and things like that, and I think that's legitimate and that's real because obviously that's part of our thing. But to be honest, it's the mundane things. I mean, so often, and every day, I'm just so grateful. But you know what? It is for what seem like these big things that are the sexy stories to talk about and all the crazy stuff and death threats and movies and all the investigations and undercover like that. That's fun at parties, and I am extremely grateful for that. But it's those mundane things that I really care about. When I get to go and I'll see Bailey, my daughter, at work, and we'll work on something together. And then that same day I go help my other daughter, and she's doing this special needs thing. And I get to help, and I get to experience and see the lives that are being changed there. And then maybe go home and we have a quiet dinner together. And I'm not even joking. Yeah. Is there a better day than that? Can you conceive of a better day than that? And so it's those what seem like smaller things, those are the big things.
Those are the huge things.
Those are the huge things. And if you just kind of let that go by and you're not paying attention because you're frustrated with whatever, I mean, dude, you've missed it. You've missed it.
The moments.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, and I have to admit, and this is meant to be encouraging, a compliment, and I'm not gonna try to crack up. But when I look at Mike Weber, you know who I see?
Yeah.
I see Stan.
Oh,
I see your dad. And it just brings back incredible memories. And I think about Stan and Vicky, and I think about your family, and I'm like, man, blessed to just move from the nation's capital to Middletown, Ohio, and God would transplant us here in this area, and He would open an incredible community. Just the other day, and you touched on it, those moments that don't miss. I know I'm getting older, and this is funny to me, but it's powerful to me. I've said this. I know I'm getting older because I'll get home later at night, and Marianne will have an episode of The Waltons playing. And literally, I'll sit down and I never watched The Waltons.
Yeah.
No.
I
I was trying to sneak and watch other things that my parents didn't want me to watch.
Exactly. You were
But
trying
I'm
to get to
watching
Charlie's
The
Angels.
Waltons.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, we were,
exactly. And then Baywatch, right? Yeah, so we better. But so, and then 2 weeks ago on a Sunday, it was Marianne and Ellie and I in the car after service. We had lunch and all that. And we were in Springboro. And it was later. And instead of going the direct route home, you know what I did? I just found the back ways home. And I thought, man, I used to hear, my grandparents and my parents talk about Sunday drives. And I'm like, ooh, that sounded so awful. And I found myself on that Sunday drive just loving it and taking it in. And I think that we don't want to miss the moments. Yeah. And it's so hard to do. In fact, there's a lot of things to go into your lane. There's a lot of things that have landed on the cutting room floor, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
And if we just take a pause, even those things that are on the cutting room floor, if we kind of just start scouring those and looking at that film, we'll be reminded along the way that, God has meant us all and designed us all to be a part of this incredible narrative. And sometimes we're the ones that go, yeah, I'd really like that clipped out of my life. But those were the times that God would even use, right, Joe? Yeah, those are the times. And today has been wonderful to spend time with a good friend, a dear friend. Mike, I can say this because I may be a little bit older than you. I'm so proud of all the accomplishments in your life. To watch, first of all, your greatest accomplishment outside of saying yes to Jesus is somehow, some way, your lovely wife said yes. And to see your children and to see and to now know grandchildren, we are getting to reap the benefits of this thing called family and community. So, Joe, it's been a great time. Take us out.
It's been fantastic, Mike. It was absolute pleasure.
Pleasure to meet you, man.
The thing that stuck out to me was the things that you're most proud of.
Yeah.
It's not Elephant. It's not any of your other movies or your productions. It's family and it's relationships. Yeah. Community, right? That's what we're getting back to.
Yeah.
If we don't have that and if we're not blessed with that, I would literally give up anything, and I would literally I would give up anything to keep it. Yeah. But I would give anything to have that. And I can't say that about anything else.
Right.
That's powerful.
Yeah. We could have done this for several hours.
I agree, man.
I feel like I've known you for a lot longer than I have.
I feel the same way.
Thanks for being here. And if you got anything out of this, folks, share it, leave a like, and come back to Triple Thread. See you soon.
See you soon.